What's up? What's up? What's up? We're getting going, talking about a huge pump opportunity. Let's get it going. I've got some great charts for you all today. Everybody throw a 1 in chat if you're ready to break down why a huge pump may be just around the corner, how we can stay prepared, what we need to do, and a little bit of an update on what's going on with the altcoin market. I got the goods for you today. Dropping that alpha. Everybody, if you're feeling good, it's a Monday morning. Everybody, let's see every single one of you post something in the live chat. What's up, everybody? How you doing? My computer is lagging incredibly. I don't know what's going on. How you doing? It's a Monday morning. Markets are setting up for something that could be absolutely phenomenal coming up here very shortly. So we got to talk about what's going on in this market. I do not know why my computer is lagging like a piece of shit. It's all good though. Let me know if there's any issues with audio visual on your side. On my side, it looks like the screen is just jumping back and forth. Hopefully it's all good. But we got to talk about what's going on in this market right now, because we're seeing the market is, we broke this down over the weekend, talking about these various levels here. Let's actually come over here to a different layout. Looking at these levels right here, and it came right down into this marker. Let's go ahead and actually pull up. Let me come back over to my main screen. I'm going to pull up Discord right now because I was sharing some charts exactly outlining what was going on here. And we can see this here, boom, right here in the BitLab Discord, in the Kelly Alpha channel, in the member zone, breaking down these levels. I shared this yesterday. And look, this is, we're down here in this zone now. We already had it mapped out. We also have a couple levels below us that still ultimately would be quite bullish if the price came down here. In fact, I think would actually set up the most bullish setup yet if we actually did come down there. But we talked a little bit about what's going on there. And more specifically, looking at this chart right here, this is the important factor that I'm really watching. These are the Bollinger Bands. And I marked out the last times that these Bollinger Bands really got squeezed. And we can see out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times it squeezed, we see only one of these was bearish, and that's okay. It doesn't mean that this has to go bullish right now, but it does suggest, one, that the Bollinger Bands tightening means that the volatility has consolidated down so small that a big move is likely going to come. Now, that could result in two different things, because remember, we talked about this lower level, and I just mentioned how this could actually be very bullish if price action came down in here. But as I just showed you with the Bollinger Bands, a big move is coming. So if that big move does come down and sweep these lows, this is going to be an excellent marker if the bulls do defend anywhere in this region, even slightly below the 59K level. This would result in really setting up an incredible opportunity for the bulls. If you guys watched that short that I posted, it was the trailer for today's stream. And if you haven't, make sure you head over to the BitLab Academy page right here. This marker, this short right here, I just posted it a little bit about an hour ago. I really do think that right now, with the bullish trend that we have been in, that's essentially all the way since January, coming back all the way since back here, really ultimately right here, this is where the bull market really started. Why March? Because this is when the price action moved up. You always want to wait for that retest to the downside. Not only did it retest this previous high, it also in some form or fashion retested this downward price action, this downward resistance level that we did have from all the way back here in November 2021. Yes, we broke higher, but you want a confirmation in this pullback, testing this zone as well as this previous high. This ultimately was a start. Now, this is an area we have to pay attention to today, because this is something that is resulting in that thumbnail that we have about that potential 50% pump. Now, what happened? Everybody, what happened right here when this did come down? Not only test this regional sort of zone here, but also this descending level of resistance, holding this as support. If we actually come back and look at this, boom, on this chart right here, we can see option T come all the way from the top, come down, boom. Look at this, resistance, resistance, test, test. Now, in this, if we look at how this sort of played out right in this zone, This is testing regionally. Yes, it breaks a little bit below this high, but regionally with all this chop, this was testing this zone as well as this descending level of resistance. So that's price action confirmation. But what did we also see when this touched this zone? March of 2023. March of 2023 was also that period in time where, look at that, over a 50% move. We can actually go from the bottom there all the way to the top, about almost 58% move to the upside. What happened right here? What happened on that zone? Not only did we test those previous price action levels, but we also had cascading bank failures at that same period. So let's talk a little bit about what's going on right now, because we have some huge signs, some huge signals that are, some are flashing, some are setting up to flash right now that could result in the real kickoff of that parabolic run that everybody wants. Is it going to happen today? Probably not. Is it going to happen tomorrow? Also probably not. But sometime in the coming week or weeks, I do think we are going to get a big move. And if it's not initially to the upside, I think a move to the downside will more likely than not be a spring to actually see that launch to the upside. Now, if this is your first time here, my name is Kelly Kellum. Welcome to the BitLab Academy stream. It's an honor to have you here. And I do want to shout out our channel sponsors, Arculus. Big love to Arculus. I got some more info I'm going to share with you on that later on in the show. But make sure you hit that like button, you hit that subscribe button, you ding the bell. Now let's talk about what we have to talk about. Where are we at in the market right now? What's going on? Bitcoin still hovering around that 63K level, right at 62.8. Got Ethereum about 31.7. BNB about 590. Solana 136. Not so long ago is up over $210. XRP still at that 50-cent mark. It seems like this is where it lives now. 46 to 70 cents has been where it's at for the last almost couple of years, right? We also got Dogecoin hovering right there at that 14-cent mark. Toncoin 530. We got Cardano about that 45-cent mark, and so on and so forth. But what is impacting the market right now? Because there's so much FUD happening right now that it makes me lean actually bullish. In fact, if I come back over to this chart right here, actually let's see, what Matthew. We come over to Matthew Highland. He actually even said something about this. Where is it? Right here. Whole crypto X feed is bearish. For me, this is actually a bullish statement, because when everybody gets bearish, this is when you tend to see the fireworks, because the least amount of people are prepared. Okay. I actually even commented here. I said, except me and BitLab Academy. But what we're seeing right now in the market is a result of not only what's going on geopolitically, geoeconomically, sociocultural. There's so much going on. There's so much contention about what's going on in the world that there's uncertainty happening right now, especially with what's going on. So let's go through some of these things. I got some incredible charts, so make sure you stick around. We're going to be jumping into some TA as well. And again, if you haven't yet, look right below this video. If it does not say subscribed, hit that subscribe button. We're just about to break 43,000 community members here on BitLab. And again, if it does not say notifications on, turn those notifications on. Somehow we got about 8% of you have your notifications turned on. So hit that notification. Now, what do we got to talk about today? Well, remember, we were talking about March 2023 when Bitcoin absolutely exploded higher, 58% in a matter of weeks. And that was right at the time that we had those cascading, some of the biggest bank failures in history. And what do we have again right now? Breaking. Republic First Bank collapses and is seized by regulators. RFB has assets totaling $6 billion. There's a lot of things going on right now in terms of what's happening with the economy. Not only the US, but Japan. Japan having issues with their devaluing of the yen, especially as it relates to the dollar. And there's questions about what's going to happen if they need to unload some of their government treasuries. Is that going? We have a lot of geopolitical chess going on with how people are going to manage their devaluing of currency. And not only that, we have the US with the runaway inflation. At some point they're going to need to print. So this is a very big thing that we have to keep our eye on this if we're going to have more bank failures, because I do think that Bitcoin is finally in a position now. We already saw a little bit of it last year. This is when those bank failures happened, March 10th. And then boom, this is when we got that huge explosion to the upside. Yes, this was also paired with where we're at in the market cycle and also coming to a key level. And then in addition, having those bank failures. But what's different now, other than the fact that we actually are in a fully established bull trend, and We also have the backing of some of the biggest financial institutions in the history of the world: BlackRock, Fidelity, Van Eck, ARK Invest, Morgan Stanley now adding Bitcoin allocations. We see the story is just getting stronger and stronger and stronger, but there's still things that we need to pay attention to. So coming back over to this story, let's go ahead and go through what I'm looking at, what I'm seeing about the possibility of where things may be leaning here into the near future. So just in, here's another contentious point. Russia has announced that it will ban the circulation of Bitcoin from September 1st, 2024. However, I did just see, and I cannot remember who posted it. It might have been Quentin. I think it might have been Quentin. I just saw, where is it? Here it goes. Quentin, yeah. Russia bans the creation of domestic crypto exchanges and payment services. It does not ban Bitcoin. So there's a little bit of contention here about what this means, but this is going to be a never-ending sort of battle. It will end. This is going to be a period of time over the next couple of years as decentralized services, decentralized networks, protocols, Bitcoin, crypto, altcoins, DeFi. Every government's going to have to figure out if they're going to join the train of true freedom of people being able to participate in these, or if they feel like it undermines their control through their cryptocurrency. I do think we're going to be seeing some bans in various countries, and because, for instance, if Russia bans, maybe that's positive for the U.S. not following in kind, doing something like Russia's doing. Who knows? But the point is, there's a lot of contention right now about what is going on in the crypto world. So this also stands to reason. Remember, actually, I'll come back over here. Scott Melker posted quite a funny post here, and I just think this does point out something that's funny for all of us. Where is the post? Right here. No matter what happens in the crypto market, everyone will be totally fine because they only traded or invested with money that they could afford to lose and obviously take some profit on their massive meme coins gains on the way up, right? So theoretically, everybody should be fine because you shouldn't be putting money in the market that you can't afford to lose. But let's be honest. Some people are all in because they believe in this so much, but that also is a recipe for disaster if you don't have a healthy strategy in place. So know that we are on the cusp of something incredibly big, but it's still contentious about how governments and different governments around the world are going to engage or restrict the engagement of what's happening with the crypto market. So with all this being said, we are on the cusp of, I think, an absolutely huge run, but particular sectors within that run might get completely squashed. That's why I have a pretty broad array of what things I am exposed to throughout my portfolio. So coming back to what we were talking about today. Now, we talked about Russia now, but where are we at right now in the Bitcoin cycle? This is the Pi cycle top indicator. And when these two metrics touch, this is I think it's 350-day moving average and the 111-day moving average. This tends to mark about where the top of, see the cross? This marks right when we had the market cycle top, right when we had the market cycle top, right when we had the market cycle top. Now, remember, some people, there's a lot of very smart analysts out there that think of this 64K top as a market cycle top and not this 69K. There's a lot that goes into that. Some of it has to do with inflation, this resulting in higher, but also has to do with a lot of on-chain metrics that suggest that this, by all basically measured purposes and significant data points, that we think of this as the cycle top. And this also is where the Pi cycle top crossed. Now, we can also just look here at the 350-day moving, 350-day moving average right here, coming slowly up. We do have resistance on it. See, resistance, 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 until we break through support, support, launch. Okay, now we had resistance, resistance, support. We had a bit of a launch here, but a rounding top. This also, remember, was a Chinese mining ban. A lot of things are going on at this level that actually somewhat suppress the potential higher price action. But where we're at right now is we're at that first test. This was the first test. This was the first test. Back here, the test we actually slightly broke through. But we have a long way to go. Price action tends to get above this and run quite a long way before we actually get the top. We're just now touching on this, and the first retest of the 350-day is usually a mid-top retest. Somewhat a little bit of a signal reset. RSI comes down. There's a lot of things that really result in giving more room to run. So if we come back over here and come back over to Matthew Hyland, he actually, I think I shared this, but he actually just shared this a few minutes ago. He's been sharing it throughout the weekend as well. But this right here, looking at this Bitcoin weekly, RSI nearly made the lower low. Even without the lower low, what we're seeing here is hidden bullish divergence, meaning the price is higher, these lows. Here's a low, here's a higher low, but we're getting basically, look how far the RSI came down while the price held so significantly higher from this previous range low, resulting also with where this RSI was. And we almost got a lower low on this, which you don't fully need. But the point being is, look, when the RSI, the strength comes down this far and the price still holds up in this zone, this signals that we may have a huge amount of underlying room that if the bulls do, if something engages the bulls to move up, we also have a huge amount of room now, especially on this weekly chart, for the price to start running feverishly. So where we're at right now, yes, feels scary. I look at it actually as opportunity for what is to come. We have not yet hit that true parabolic uptrend, resulting basically after we break through this level. See right here, even this is also right at the previous all-time high. Crazy how that happened. And yet again, it's happening right here where we're at the previous all-time high region. The fireworks have not even begun to fire off yet. Things are just getting spicy. Now, when we're looking at this chart right here, talking about things resetting, signals resetting for that huge run that we're looking for. Now, last time Bitcoin saw these levels was the FTX collapse. This is a dynamic NVT range. It's often called the Bitcoin PE ratio. It is a ratio of on-chain transactions to market cap. The use of dynamic range bands here help to identify regions of under and overvaluation. Green, this is overvaluation. Red, undervaluation. Sorry, this is red and green. I said those backwards. Read more, blah, blah, blah. But what we're seeing here, the last time when we had the FTX collapse, the last time we were this low was back here when that happened. The FTX collapse was, remember, right November into December 2022. So we're looking at that where the NVT was as low as we were last time, was back in this region here. So look how much higher prices, and looking at where we just were on this chart, we just got the NVT coming down to undervalued zones again. Yet the price is so much higher. And we just saw the RSI had reset significantly lower while price is still remaining quite high. Does it mean we can't get a move lower? No, it does not mean that. But I'm saying with the signals resetting as they are, it is ripe for our opportunity. Any amount lower that we go, for me, is an opportunity to really take advantage of the market conditions. Buy the blood in the streets is what Warren Buffett, one of the best investors of all time, says. And that's what we're seeing right now. When we're looking at this, while having supply crunch always needed time to materialize, this having the fee spike caused miners to earn more Bitcoin instead of less. Now, I talked about this a bit last week, where this is actually a very good thing, that we have new mechanisms within the Bitcoin blockchain ecosystem that miners aren't only relying specifically on the rewards that they get from mining, from winning mining contracts, right? From competing to mine a block. And if they win, they get the reward, right? Well, in this case, we saw a huge spike. This is how high it went. This dot right here is how high the fees went. Now, everybody's wondering, does this mean it's always going to be congested? Well, when we look at this next chart right here, we can see that that has since almost fully subsided. And the predominant, while declining transaction fees, miners' revenue drops from 900 to 450 Bitcoin a day. Remember, 900 Bitcoin a day were the rewards going out before the halving. And just so you know, everybody, I have been in crypto for 7+ years, 8 years. And my mother couldn't be more on the other side of the fence about crypto and Bitcoin and all the stuff. She even, talking to her yesterday, She said she was surprised to see that the Bitcoin price didn't go down to $30,000 after the halving. And I was like, a lot of people, for me, that she's like a barometer for the average person that doesn't understand Bitcoin. So there's still a huge amount of people out there, a huge amount of capital out there that's still locked up on the ignorant side of understanding what's going on in the Bitcoin and crypto markets. So there's going to be still quite a bit of time, over the next, it's not even going to result in the next 2 years. It'll probably take 7 years before the majority of people out there in the world, when asked about Bitcoin, have some idea about it. Now, the funny thing about that is the majority of people don't even know how the US dollar works. So it's not like we need, as Gary Cardone says regularly, everybody doesn't need to understand Bitcoin. What has to happen is the people that understand it early are going to absolutely dominate because it's going to be life-changing money. The earlier you do it, whether it's before now or now, every day you delay, you have less of an opportunity to change your life. The majority of the people in 10 years' time that are using Bitcoin, and it will be in the billions at that point, and I have a chart for you to show you that as well. But the majority of people aren't going to understand and know how blockchains work and understand the mining revenue and understand the halving. And no, it's going to be something that people get consciously used to because they're hearing about it and they're seeing the regularity of the people in their circles utilizing it. And trust comes with time, right? So we don't need everybody to understand it, but the sooner people do understand it now, understanding it now before it has a huge amount of legacy in terms of time is what drives people to invest in it early. But the truth is, most people aren't going to invest in it early. It's going to be the select few that really have life-changing wealth, but it's because they understand these metrics. In 10 years' time, the majority of people are buying it just because it's something that is integrated into everyday life. So coming back over to this chart, now what we're seeing is we're seeing this delayed halving effect because now we're having less capital coming into the miners, and also basically the supply crunch starts to come into effect in the market. This isn't going to result in tomorrow the price goes up, but it's every day building stronger foundation for where this market can go. Now coming over to this, finally, urgent market sells, CVD, cumulative volume delta, is subsiding. Local bearish regime subsiding. The dotted line at 59.6, which I've been talking about for the last, 8 months. The short-term holder cost basis. This is a very important number, a very important moving average on a chart. The dotted line is at 59.6, which historically, short-term holder cost basis, is the line between bullish and bearish regimes. Needs to stay above this. And I won't say that it needs to stay above this. In fact, I think that we could get a sweep below it. And we've talked about this before. Right in this zone right here, we swept below the short-term holder cost basis, but this was a deviation and it was scary. We've seen in previous cycles, once we break above it, support, all the way staying well above short-term holder cost basis. Similarly, back here, we're looking on this chart, break above it, support, all the way to the upside. Now, again, we are in unprecedented times right now with everything on the line. Wall Street is now starting to get engaged. People that have an understanding about, with some sort of time horizon on Bitcoin, understand that this is the best opportunity probably in the history of the world for anything on an investment basis. I truly believe that. And because of that, things are primed to break some models. We actually saw it right here with the price action breaking above previous all-time high before the halving. This is a halving here. You see back here, this is when we broke above previous all-time high. This is previous all-time high right here. Look where the halving was. Quite a period before we actually broke. So there are already things changing here where in some ways people think we ran up much too quickly. But other people like TechDev_52 on Twitter suggest that it has more to do with the global liquidity cycle. So maybe it's a little bit of both, but the point being is the capital flows coming into Bitcoin and the awareness, the growing awareness globally about what's going on in the crypto market and the opportunity that lies therein, in addition to the distrust that is growing with people and the management of their money by their governments, whether it's the U.S., China, Thailand, doesn't just name, Turkish lira, Bolivia, Venezuela. I mean, name it's people. I don't think there's I don't think there's a people or culture on earth that think our government's doing the right thing with our money. And that is a growing sentiment. And as people become aware of this other alternative that has a fixed monetary supply that is audited every single 10 minutes, which is what the Bitcoin mining, every miner has to agree on all the transactions. And there's a program monetary reduction in supply every 4 years. Everybody also is to decentralize not only ledger, but a decentralized rule system. Everybody says this is the only way we operate. So all things combined, and we're right on the cusp of huge adoption. We've got to pay attention to what's going on here. So let's get back over into these charts. Where are we at? So this is going to be a very interesting area. If the price action does sweep down into this zone, I don't think it's over because of especially what's going on with where we're at in the market cycle. But I would be watching for a deviation like we saw before in that last chart. Now, similarly, Bitcoin's 2-month candle, this is the gentleman I was just talking about. Make sure you're giving him a follow if you haven't yet. TechDev_52. But he says Bitcoin's 2-month candle is right on the candle body high. So candle body high, boom. See? Soon after max compression. Max compression means the Bollinger Bands tightening down, volatility constricting. You see this right here again. You see this right here, constricting again. See this right, you can't quite see prior to this because Bollinger Bands didn't have enough history before this to formulate where those bands would be. But we're seeing similar things. As RSI is about to break 70, see this right here? See where we're at on RSI, see where we're at on RSI, see where it's almost like history is repeating itself in a very tight rhyme. These have been the conditions which led to the last 3 parabolic accelerations. So we see major bank collapsing again, or a bank. It's not a major bank. It's actually a regional bank. But we're starting to see signs that we saw, like we saw last year when Bitcoin moved up 58% in those cascading failures. We're seeing an issue with these higher interest rates for longer, starting to have deeper impact on. I saw a metric earlier today that about 43% of small businesses are unable to pay their rent on time. We're seeing issues with banks. We're seeing, I mean, the conditions are set in ways that I don't even know what to tell you. Are you prepared? I guess is a question you should ask yourself. But then we see this, altcoins and Bitcoin is going to affect everything. USDT dominance. This is a USDT dominance chart. So when people are selling their crypto, a lot of it goes into stable coins. So in this case, when we're looking specifically at USDT Tether, when dominance is going up, that means coins are, there's more capital going into stable coins. And when that capital gets deployed back into crypto, the dominance goes down. So what we're seeing right here, see this? This rising trend line coming down, finding support, losing it, back testing it, and then a continuation to the downside. Is this in store? Because this would support what we were just seeing here with that potential upside. If we're seeing the dominance of USDT breaking down, this is a recipe that is indicating that capital is flowing back into crypto. In addition to this, so we see USDT dominance broke through a trend line that has been intact for almost 6 years. MACD showing very strong bearish momentum. And this is good because bearish USDT dominance means very bullish crypto. When USDT goes down, altcoins go up. Biggest alt season of 2017 since 2017 is loading, in my honest opinion, says Mustache. Make sure you give them a follow as well. It's a great chart. This is showing the building blocks of something major likely coming. Again, it might not happen today. It won't happen today. Might not happen tomorrow, but over the course of the next three months, I do think we're going to see a seismic shift and the disposition of everybody on crypto Twitter, because they're going to be rolling in money if they were preparing. So this is positive stuff, very positive. Then we can see this right here, talking about that growing adoption. What do we need? Not just new capital, but where's that new capital come from? New adopters, as well as, especially with all these new capital inroads from ETFs and EGPs, and just awareness. Bitcoin versus the internet adoption. Bitcoin is growing faster than the internet. So everybody's wondering, even with the dip right now, even with a dip, look at the bigger picture. Let me say this again. Bitcoin dipping right now, but there's no reason to be scared. It is opportunity. Looking at this chart right here, we see Bitcoin versus the internet adoption. This is on track to continue growing exponentially, meaning huge hundreds of millions of new people coming into Bitcoin, coming into the crypto ecosystem. This is a recipe for more capital. And this is just after we just had so many new capital inroads to the crypto ecosystem with these ETFs. We already had 9 or 11, a huge number of them here in the US, but we have Hong Kong this week launching new Bitcoin and Ethereum ETFs. We have so much not only on the horizon, but we have the projections from data that shows that more people exponentially are going to be coming in very soon. So is this dip something to be worried about, or is it something we should be taking advantage of to change our lives? That's the question we should be asking ourselves right now. So we have huge data points. I mean, does this not make you bullish? I mean, this makes me so damn bullish, I can't even tell you what to say. Now coming over to this chart right here, altcoins BTC. Many people believe that the bull market is over. However, I think that all in all, we have only experienced a warm-up phase if you look at the big picture. So let's look at this. Price action, oh, it's over, right? We're worried. Some people are worried it's this and it's or this or so on and so forth. But the charts are indicating that we are only in the early stages of the largest seismic shift in this huge exponential gains that come into the market. This is the total market cap. Bitcoin, Ethereum, all those altcoins. Okay. Technical analysis is better than opinions. I agree with this. This is why I say don't look at the price, look at the data. The parabola for the crypto market hasn't even really started yet. What are we looking at? Well, we can see where we're at on this second dot. Okay, right in here, we have a little bit of a pullback, but we're right about in this zone right in here. See how this starts ticking up? This is where I believe that we are as well. This is also right about when we broke previous all-time high. Then boom, right about when we broke previous all-time high, boom. I do think that so long as you can be patient and have a longer-term time horizon for those longs and figure out ways to stack into those coins that you believe in, knowing some are going to get crushed. Not every altcoin you hold is going to win. Some are going to go to zero. This is why it's so important to do diligence, do deeper research, follow different crypto YouTubers. Maybe somebody puts you onto something. That doesn't mean you buy it. That means you go and look into it and say, do I agree with this? You got to take responsibility for your future. Otherwise, you're going to point fingers and say, that guy told me to buy it and it went down. No, screw that. It's your responsibility. I can only be a point of tools, resources, info, coin picks, sure. But I only want to put it on your radar so that you can do your diligence. That's one of the reasons why in the BitLab Academy, we share our thought. I mean, look, I'm sharing all my thoughts about what's going on with the price action and why, and also what I'm doing with my altcoin portfolio. We also have Joshua Jake in here sharing his calls and breakdowns and what's going on. We got VIP charts. For not just me and Josh, but John Dalton, professional trader, Corduroy, professional trader, sharing different breakdowns, setups, altcoin scalps, for the shorter term time frame trades, Jim calls, and what's going on with. I mean, you can join a community, but the community is only a tool and a resource for you to basically tie in whether or not something was going to work for your portfolio. So I just want to reinstill responsibility in everybody. And the number one responsibility you should have is an investment in your education, whether that is time searching online and breaking things down or joining a community that can help you along that process. Now, coming back over to the screen here, let me see, yeah, right here. So on the positive side, risk signal has been dropping. Now I love this. It might be hard to see because of the colors, but I want you to just notice risk signal here, this purple line, See how high this was here? And this is also where the price dropped. And it wasn't until this risk signal, you can see right here, this risk signal right here dropped. Look at where this dropped. This is perfectly in line just before this massive explosion higher. So what do we see also back here? Risk signal up into the moon. COVID crash right here. And then what do we see? This drops very quickly, and then the price action moves to the upside. What do we see? Risk got a little hot. Where was that price at? Well, when price was testing that previous all-time high. Now, even though this is trading within a range, and some people feel like, oh my God, it's dropped so much. No, it hadn't. It hadn't dropped anywhere near what it's dropped in previous cycles about this time. In fact, it's surprising we've only had a 20% drop, 20% drop, 20% drop, 20% drop, and about a 19% drop here. And then now we're back up about I think about 16% down from this all-time high. We are, I mean, incredible bull flag we have here. And look at this. That risk metric has dropped significantly, which doesn't mean we're going to launch today, but it means maybe we'll get a little bit more spike here and then another drop down, and then we'll get liftoff. Point being is we are setting up beautifully. Now, we do have some bearish concerns here. Bears will take the bearish. Bears will like the bearish divergence that's printed on weekly candles. Soon to be the monthly candles in a day when the month closes. Because remember, was it tomorrow? Month closes. See these tops? Siri is talking to me. See these tops on the RSI? Lower, high. Look at these. Higher, high. So we have bearish divergence on this RSI here on the weekly chart, which could scare some people out. But I use this as saying, okay, there's going to be some bears there. Maybe we do get that sweep down on price action. But what would that look like? Well, let's go ahead and pull up the liquidation map. Looking at the liquidation map here on the 7-day, this is that level right below us. It kind of already ate into some of these liquidations, ate into some of these. The closest liquidation level we have is just below us down here at 61.7. Let's actually refresh this, because I loaded this morning. Okay, now got a little bit of a bounce there. Look at that. A little bit of a bounce as it swept into this. Now, when we're looking at what's going on with the price action, shout out Ethan Smith, 499. Bull flags are 8. Bull flags 8 for the BitLab fam. Bull flags are for the, and you know what? They're going to help us eat, because we're going to be able to, if these, do break out to the upside, we're going to have incredible opportunity for some profit, Now, this was quite a bit lower this morning. It was down in this region. This is starting to move up. Windshield wiper method, as Joshua Jake has taught us all, with this liquidity flushing out to the downside, then coming back, flushing out to the upside. And we saw this delta, this negative delta got quite large, which also indicated a likely move to the upside. So when we look at the price action on Bitcoin, let's come back over here, boom. And by the way, I do want to shout out, this afternoon, 3 o'clock, I have, you guys asked for a Polkadot price prediction for 2024, 2025. I'm breaking down Polkadot price prediction. I want everybody that's watching right now, if you're watching live, if you're watching later, comment down below. What would you like the next coin to be a deep dive on? Let me know which coin you'd like to see a deep dive on, and I will I'll start getting a list, doing some deep dives, followed up by a price prediction of those various coins. Now, looking at what's going on here on the price action, get down to 4-hour, double click. So this is what I was talking about. Okay, let's zoom in there. There we go. So we are now, right now, from the previous all-time high, we're about 14% down. Oh, sorry, yeah, 14% down from the previous all-time high. Is this? There we go, yeah. Now we still, oops, sorry about that. Now we still have a higher low. This is still very bullish. This was the level we marked out here. We had this marked out here. If we lost this level, likely coming down to here. Why? Because we have this bounce, this bounce, this bounce, and this rejection right in here. Where did the price come down to? Right into this zone. And we're in the middle of massive order blocks here on the price action here from the BitLab trading stack. Automatically shows you high liquidity areas of interest. So we have this larger one from previous, and then we had this one formed just back here, April 18th. This bounced right above this. If we do lose this, then we need to look to this larger flag, this larger range that we've been traveling in. If we lose this, the next level down is basically 60,000. And then ultimately a sweep down here, which I think would be incredibly healthy, especially if we're about to go parabolic. The market's going to want to clear out any leveraged longs. So if this does break down further, this is the area I'm watching, this 58.7 up to about 59.5 sort of zone, potential sweep down into the zone. Now, when we look at, why did they get so small? There we go. There we go. We do have negative money flow here, but the VWAP is looking like it's trying to come up. And I want to point something out. See this large, where are we at? 2 hour. We had a huge amount of selling volume. When is this? Thursday. Right in here. The spike in selling volume right here. Why? Because we had a large move to the downside, followed by a high selling volume right here. And we see this VWAP got sucked down from the $65,000 level right down. And this is actually somewhat bullish with the bearish caveat. This means that this VWAP now gave us an opportunity. Look, we have broken through this rather than having to go all the way up to 65. If Bitcoin's price can stay above this weekly VWAP. Now, this can come back and test it, fine. But we don't want to see this be a deviation above, come back down and lose this. That would signal we're likely coming down to this $60,000 level. Now, as it stands right now, if we do get a little bit of a reversal here, let it be a back test, meaning let it be something that moves up, comes back, tests this region, and then moves. That would be the most bullish case yet, because we want to see it do work up and come back and test that move, testing this sort of range high that is right in here, which would also result in a bounce above this weekly VWAP. So things are actually looking fine, even with the sweep to the downside. The market is generally looking very, very. Let's go to a different chart. The market is generally looking quite bullish, so long as we don't lose all the way down here. I would say a loss of $53,000, $51,000 to $53,000. Losing this zone would make me start questioning the bullish move in the near term. If we can move down, sweep anywhere in here, even bound to go coming all the way down as low as this $56,000 level, which is this macro resistance level coming all the way up in here. If we move down and sweep into this zone and then move up, for me, that would be the most bullish situation, because we'd be flushing out the long liquidity and then getting people committed short, which is not going to be you all, because you have a clue what's going on, and then a break back up to the upside would then ultimately be a much healthier market. When we look over at Ethereum, let's get down to the 4 hour. There we go. Ethereum did come down, lose. Let's delete some of this. It's too messy. It's too messy. Delete some lines on this chart. Here we go. Look at this. Look at this. Pushed up, rejected, came right down to these previous range highs, pushed up, rejected again. If we can hold in this zone and start working up, that would be beautiful. We do have positive money flow here on the 4 hour. The VWAP did come down, but it's swinging back to the upside. The stochastics came down, nearly fully reset down here at 26%. The RSI did lose, come down here into this 39%, but I do actually want to point this out. I just remembered this. I shared this yesterday. Where is it at? Yeah, this came down, is testing below the, if this could form a higher low here on the RSI and get back above this moving average, that would also strengthen that case for the bulls. Now, when we come back over here to Ethereum, this is on the daily. Got a bit of a broadening wedge here. And we're below the weekly VWAP. You see this? Below the weekly VWAP. We get down to the 4 hour. All right. So we're below the weekly. We're oscillating right back and forth around it. Now, we do have positive money flow, but it's neutral right now. I mean, money's not really moving back and forth. Volume's a bit flat here, and we are ripe for an opportunity for price to go either way. If we lose this level, I'm watching for a buy opportunity down here, or a health strength check opportunity. If price action comes down here to this zone right here, 29.65. If we lose this zone, I do think we're likely going to be making another move lower, possibly down here to this 2,700. Now, when we look at Ethereum to Bitcoin, look at this breakout on the 4-hour chart. Ethereum started finally breaking out a little bit, and look at this. We broke past this previous range high too. So it is trying to, there's some work trying to be done by players in this space. There's a case for some bullishness coming in with this. If this can hold, I would say above this zone right here, this previous range low, this hiccup here, if this can hold above 0.0497, then I think this would be a strong case for Ethereum, and which also would signal altcoins to start making a run. But we also see Algorand. Algorand had this strong move up, and now it's come back quite significantly, coming down all the way below, coming down below the golden pocket, all the way to the 786. So some people want this to be a cup and handle, but it's come down a bit too far for this to be a cup and handle. But I mean, the market, things are just waiting on Bitcoin. Things are waiting on Bitcoin to make that move. So I'm just saying right now, there's so much bullishness that we've outlined with these charts, things that are setting up, things that are really getting into it. We've got a lot of, we got several member streams we're going to be doing this week in the Discord. So make sure you check into that. And by the way, all this crypto that we're going to be, we're stacking into, we're making, really making money. I want to shout out our channel sponsors, Arculus. Again, by the way, Arculus, there was over $1.7 billion from cryptocurrency platforms was stolen in 2023. And get Arculus, which you can find at getarculus.com. You can use code LAB10 for 10% off. That's LAB10 at checkout. Add coupon or add code or whatever. But these have three-factor authentication. Arculus secured applications can only be accessed on a user's own device and unlocked by their unique biometrics, like your fingerprint and your face. You also have the second layer of defense, which is a secret personal identification number, your PIN that you have to know. And then something you have, which is the Arculus card, which you get in the box that looks like this and has an awesome, basically, CompuSecure card, like you see your Amex or your credit cards that have the biometric, or sorry, the chip in it, that, the touch pay. They're the company that you can see it on here on this page, these little chips. This company not only has these wallets, they're the ones that invented and have all the patents for this. It's one of the most secure things out there. So if you lose a card, it doesn't matter because it still has those other two forms of basically authentication. So make sure you head over to getarculus.com and you use that code LAB10 for 10% off. And by the way, I just want to say, I couldn't be more excited about what's happening in this bull market right now. Yes, we are still in a bull market, even though we have a dip. Things are getting contentious right now for people that don't have conviction. So the question is, what is your conviction? I hope to see you all in the BitLab. You can head over to bitlabacademy.com and to sign up, but we got a great deal for that as well, which you can go to lab.bitlabacademy.com/Kelly, which you can see right here, lab.bitlabacademy.com/Kelly. And you can you get one of the best deals we have. If you're an existing member and you have not resubscribed yet, I have all those links in there. Make sure you do it, because everybody that hasn't resubscribed, because we had to change payment processors, you will lose your account. You can also just resubscribe with this. It's the same deal. It's the same deal for the new users. But so check it out. Sign up for BitLab here. And it's the best way you can help support this channel is getting involved with BitLab. And if not, become a member here on YouTube, because we got some great stuff going on here too. I love you guys. I appreciate you. Shout out to Alexander G, our #1 mod in the space. Jason Rohde, Sawtooth Hiker. Who else is in the house? How many BitLab members we got in here? Let's see some lab coats. Let's see some emojis. I hope everybody's doing well. We got such a wonderful family here. And I just want to say I appreciate you all. Thank you again, Ethan Smith, for the super chat. That's all I got for you today. Watch out for that Polkadot price prediction video this afternoon. And comment down below this video, even if you're watching live, if you're watching later, everybody comment down below this video what projects you want to see a deep dive on, and then we'll follow that also up with the price prediction video. I love you guys. I appreciate you. Adios, muchachos. Adios, muchachos. Thank you for coming. Thank you for always tuning in. Join us in BitLab Academy using that link, lab.bitlabacademy.com/Kelly. Get 15 days free and a huge deal for the lifetime of your account. Hope to see you in there. Adios, muchachos.